All right, there is a move that is going on, a new wave of demonstrations across the African continent. Raila, on the other hand, in Kenya, did lead a strike in Kenya amongst the top counties in the country. Also in South Africa, Julius Malema of the EFF led another peaceful demonstration in South Africa. That's another big concern on the African continent that is questioning a lot to do with the government and, of course, the economic well-being of the citizens. Good morning, welcome on board to Smart Means Business. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko. Hope you are well, because we are well. It's Tuesday, 21st of March 2023, and we are definitely moving on swiftly with giving you business information as it's supposed to be. But well, besides that as well, remember, as we kickstart off the day, you should as well kickstart off your investment with our *292# is the USSD code that you can use to kickstart off your investment and be part of Uganda's investment journey. Zabu is the platform that is giving you this opportunity. After ushering you into that space, all you need to do is follow the prompt. First is you register with your national identification number. After registration with your national identification number, it is wise enough for you to definitely kickstart off your investment. For example, if you want to invest in government bonds, the minimum amount of investment is 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Of course, there are other securities available on the platform that you will choose to invest. And of course, Zabu's markets open at 8:15 a.m. and closing time is past 15 p.m. in that is in the afternoon at 3. Of course, the markets are fully closed during the weekends and on public holidays. Zabu, my money, my future. All takes East Africa, do something new. All right, now let's start off with business update of the morning, as Parliament is looking into the COVID-19 funds. These are the COVID-19 funds that were given during that time of COVID. Some came in as recovery funds to different businesses. And then not only that, there were also different COVID-19 packages that were available during the lockdown. Now, the percentage share for involved stakeholders has delayed the vaccine, according to what has been highlighted in here in regards to the delay of manufacturing our own vaccine by the look of things here. And according to those behind it, according to the stakeholders behind this particular initiative of getting Uganda or manufacturing our own vaccine, there is need for equipment and need for human resource, which is experienced and of high expertise. And not only that, also money is something that is highly needed in order to make sure that this goes through as well. And as a matter of fact, when you look at this delay of, let's say, lack of enough money, then equipment and less human resource are one of the key things that have contributed to the delay of manufacturing our own vaccine. Just recently in Rwanda, though, they received a biotech container which would help them manufacture vaccines within Africa, and of course being one of the African hubs to at least construct or rather manufacture a vaccine. So this is something that you could easily look at and say, how, if Rwanda can do it, then how about us? But here on the other space, in the space of Uganda, as we look at speeding up the process of manufacturing our own vaccines, it does look like the money, equipment and human resource are still highly needed. Let's have more in our first morning update.
Percentages, research group percentages, and institutional percentages.
What do you mean by those percentages?
So these are discussions that...
No. What do you mean by percentages?
So
ownership of the patent?
Ownership. So
who else would be owning what we have paid for?
So the government, the research group, and the...
No.
Yes.
No, which institution and which research group?
So, well, I will not...
Sheila, I'm now putting off my gloves as a member of parliament.
Okay.
Tell me,
yes,
why would there be a dispute over ownership of a patent
it's not a dispute.
For which we have paid?
It is actually according to the memorandum of understanding. That
between who and who?
Between MOSTI and the respective institutions and the research scientists. We have guidance.
Can you give us a copy of that memorandum?
Yes, I can.
You have it with you here? Very good.
So we have generated...
You're off the microphone. First, don't worry. First, yes, someone is elevated to holding a microphone for you.
So this is a copy we've concluded trainings by Preside as well as NARO, guiding the scientists with regard to patent. So there's a section of patent with about 10 points that guide on who leads. However, key was that in the application, the Ministry of Science, Technology, MOSTI would be the lead, and then the inventors would submit the application. There are additional
submission of
the
application
yes,
is not in dispute.
Yes.
But ownership of the patent or co-ownership of the patent,
it is to the government, the largest percentage
and
is
then and then the smaller percentage
to the inventors,
for
the
what?
Scientists and the institutions.
For what?
For working day and night.
No. Let me tell you, when I hire you, I buy your labor and skill. You cannot shake your head in disapproval. What I'm making is a statement of law. We are going to examine this because you see, you are negotiating over patenting percentages. For us, we want the thing on the market.
What is it? COVID is not gone. It is still around. We were able to get some vaccines produced from outside, which brought down the epidemic. But to sustain the response, we need to have a national capacity to generate our vaccines. And the scientists are working towards generating vaccines, generating therapeutics, and generating diagnostics. Because you need all the three if we are to contain the epidemic of COVID. Because COVID is going to be around. It's a flu virus. And as you know, flu viruses just come in periodically, and so we need to be on our feet to ensure that when it emerges, we can handle that. And that's why it was important to have the different approaches to the vaccines, because the one of culturing the virus and then inactivating it will address one type of antigenic variant. And when the variants change and these viruses, just their biological agents, they also want to survive, so they keep changing. And we can cope with that if we have the national capacity to do it. Now, in getting vaccines or therapeutics or diagnostics, you need to have certain things in place. One, you need to have the equipment. We didn't have the equipment. You need to have the money. At the beginning, we didn't have the money until the president came in and said, okay, let's get money available to the scientists to do these things. Then human resources, because you need to get the right scientists and the students to work together to move forward. So it takes time. Now, there is an aspect of basic science behind all this. Then there's an aspect of developing a potential candidate vaccine, candidate therapeutic, candidate diagnostic. That is for only in the research laboratories. But that's not yet there. You have to take that into a product development channel. And then you have to end up in the manufacturing facility. That's when you'll have a product that can be tested in humans. And each of these areas require different skills. I am glad to let you know, Mr. Chairman, that we have been able to develop this in the country. And it's a great achievement. But we have a long way to go, because now when it comes to manufacturing and getting the manufactured product out into the market, now that is yet another bridge that we need to cross to get there. But we shall do it, except that it takes time. It might have been misunderstood that this would be a very quick thing. That was a mistake. It takes time, but we shall get there. I thank you, and we thank you, the government, for supporting the scientists.
Of course, that is the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament, of course, having the people behind the manufacturing of our own vaccine. Well, we're still waiting for it, though. I do remember during COVID-19, we did have Professor Ogwang, who was actually coming up with his own kind of cure for COVID-19. And then the questions would be, why wasn't he added onto the same panel? But, well, obviously, there is a reason as to why we have scientists, we have some university researchers as well, who are part of this same kind of situation as well. But comfortably, if we are to look at the other issue, is by the look of things, looking at how best can we get our own vaccine. I've used an example of Rwanda, where Rwanda 2 weeks back received the first batch of their biotech containers, which would be used in the manufacturing of their own vaccines in various kinds of health related issues. Now this time around, when you look at the fact that people in Parliament being questioned by the Public Accounts Committee on why has it taken us all this long before we get our own vaccine. It's 2 years after COVID-19 hit us, though, and you could easily think that at this time around we would be having a way forward. Now, one of the reasons as to why this hasn't come to pass or hasn't happened, according to the members who appeared before the Public Accounts Committee, who are behind all those who received the funding to at least start the manufacturing of our vaccine, set up facilities and everything, is that the money was less. And of course, there's also limited human resource, or you could say very few people who would help in the manufacturing process. But then not only that as well, you get to also realize that the stakeholders have come out to reveal that also the equipment is not that reliable, or is not enough, or there is less equipment or no equipment that will be used to manufacture at the level of the speed that we want. So they've also come out to reveal that it is they thought it would be a speedy process, or it would be very fast for them to at least get these vaccines done and dusted, but it wasn't the case. So you can easily see that someone may still ask, what is wrong with our country? Then what happens afterwards? Why do we always have to delay? Or why do we always have to push forward? Why do we always have to push for these things until the last part? Why do we always have to have people appearing before the Public Accounts Committee, before COSASE, before all these particular committees that are in Parliament? For example, the Committee on Health the other week was actually having the Ministry of Health officials questioning them on the progress of the Loboa Hospital. And of course, those are some of the things that you can easily try to look at and say, well, if we not only do we need to deal with this kind of inconsistencies, but we also have to make sure that we are so fast at doing certain things and we can streamline the activities in the public service in the country. Okay, besides that, we now head to Wandegea, that is the Wandegea traffic lights, to at least have a look at how the traffic flow is and how best you can start off your business day, if at all you're using one of those routes. For those who are actually coming in from Hoima Road, those who are coming in from Nankulabye, those living in Chikoni, people living in Makere, people coming in from Gayaza Road, those from Ntinda Kamocha, but still using that same lane, Molago. How can you get into a better start to your day? Let's get into the traffic updates this morning with Barije Andrew, who is at the Wandegea traffic lights around the Wandegea junction as well, to take us through.
Thank you very much, Joram, and a very good morning. Today we are right here at the Wandegea traffic lights, of course observing the traffic atmosphere in here. But of course I'll say the overall analysis regarding this area is that there is quite a mild congestion, and that is as compared to certain routes over other routes. You're going to find that some people on other routes are a little bit advantaged as compared to other routes, as long as they're coming to use to pass via this very, very traffic lights junction. Now, at my very back, And of course, starting in here, if you can observe the vehicles that are coming, that is from Kampala, and of course connecting in here to Wandegea, you get to realize that it's quite a little bit of a mild kind of a move of the vehicles as compared to the rest of the routes. Looking in here, and of course the vehicles held in about 3 to 5 minutes intervals, and of course coming to execute the different businesses within this very area. And of course we know that there are quite lots of residents that come from many other parts, that is of Kampala, coming in here to Wandegea to execute business, and that is what we're observing. In there, looking at the far left, vehicles coming all the way from Kampala, coming in here, and of course some branching into the Bombo Road, heading to the different destinations to execute the different businesses. Now, if you're coming from Kampala, and of course coming in this side to Wandegea, you find that it's a little bit congested. In a way, is that you may be a little bit delayed, and of course you may delay in the jam a little bit as compared of course to the other people that are going to other destinations. And you know, it's starting all the way stretching to this lane that is of Kampala Road, all the way coming in here, because there are lots of people are now in there. You find that some are heading to Waise, some people are heading to Kalere, and of course Wandegea is sometimes a destination away from people coming in here to Wandegea to do the different businesses, but also the proceeding places away from Wandegea. You find that that's why you find there is quite lots of vehicles, lots of them piling in there, of course waiting in the jam, being controlled by the traffic officers in control, making sure that everything moves as smooth as possible. Now, away from that, let's take a look on my very left hand as we take a look at the Makerere route, which is always kind of congested as compared to other routes, and that is what we are observing in there. For the people that are coming from the different places, and you probably plan to use the one because there are 3 sets of traffic lights. There are those that are on the main gate in the way and coming in right here. That is to the main traffic lights, and that you get to realize that you might be delayed 3 times. That is in 3 intervals, and of course coming at this side of the Wandegea traffic lights, which definitely might also take you some time. So for people coming in from areas like Kabusu, some people from Waise actually use that route, Kasubi, and of course and so many other areas connecting all the way from Sir Apollo routes coming in here. You find that you might be delayed to actually reach in time. You could probably find other alternatives to ensure that you reach in time at whatever destination you're heading to execute the business, or if you're going to report to work and do the rest of that. The main gate of Makerere University, definitely you're going to be held by the traffic lights. And before the main gate, the Sir Apollo Junction in there are also traffic lights. So those are 3 phases, and coming in down here. And that explains why we see the quite of a heavy fleet of vehicles in there. And of course, the average time, they're being held for about 3 to 5 minutes before they are released to the destinations. And we know always in most cases when the traffic officers are in control of this jam, where they don't let the traffic lights do their work, of course, this is what turns out a heavy congestion in here, and of course delaying some of the people that are going to execute the rest of the businesses. So that is what we are observing in here. All right, now away from the Makerere route, let's take a look at the Bombo Road. And of course it seems to be a little bit of a free lane this time around, and as we speak, vehicles just been released. Now for the people that are coming in from areas like Waise, Kalere, well, and you're planning to use this route, well, it's quite a little bit okay. You might be in position to reach in time and execute your businesses efficiently. And of course, yeah, vehicles moving in freely, heading to the different destinations, and definitely majority heading to Kampala. Taxis, private vehicles, there are borders, there are pedestrians, and so many other people that are actually using this very particular route to go and head to the different destinations. Yeah, the most amazing aspect is that after being released for just about 2 minutes, it's not a heavy fleet as compared to other routes, whereby it might take quite a while when the vehicles are released, of course, to get to the different destinations. So that is what we are really looking up to in here. Well, away from Bombo Road now, let's take a look down here. And now that's for the people that are coming from Mulago, Kamocha, and definitely you're connecting towards the Mulago roundabout and you're planning to come to town. It's quite a little bit of a tricky lane for you this morning, as you might be delayed a bit to reach, and of course, to the right destination that you need to reach to. If you're reporting to work, well, and you're heading to town, you could probably click straight. You can connect via the fairway traffic lights and probably proceed that way. You might be probably able to reach in time approximately. But if you're really planning, that is to use this the Wandegea traffic lights junction, well, it might be a little bit tricky for you to reach in time. So that is the situation goes on. So we don't know what will happen in the next 30 minutes. Well, that is it for the traffic updates this morning. I'm Andrew Barija. Today we've been down here at the Wandegea traffic lights junction and of course observing the traffic atmosphere. Like I said earlier, other routes it's a little bit fair, but other routes it's quite a little bit tricky, most especially people on the Makera Road and the people that are coming in the way from Mulago, Kamocha, and they're connecting to this very route and they're coming to town. It's a little bit tricky for you. You can find other options. Well, back to studio with Joram for this time.
The date is Tuesday, 21st of March 2023. Does look so busy for now for the people coming in and crossing over from Wandegea. Good morning. You're watching Smart Means Business. After the break, we shall be heading to Karibu, East Africa, and the letters from the international updates. And I've also got something coming in from South Africa and the press review. Good morning.